What's up, guys? It's Matt here with Thanks Lawn Maintenance. It is currently 8:18 a.m. Tuesday morning, August the 6th, 2024, year of our Lord. And man, y'all see that out there? Ooh-wee! It's been like that all morning, man. All morning. Been like that all night. It's actually been like that since about 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, somewhere between 5 and 6 yesterday evening. That's Hurricane Debbie, or tropical storm, tropical depression, whatever it is, man. I live in Augusta, Georgia. We ain't got no ocean nowhere near us, so I don't consider this no hurricane. But you get the gist of it. It's been raining like hell for quite a while, and for well over 12 hours now. And it's supposed to be like this until Sunday evening. So we're just watching it, man. We're just watching it. I walked out into my yard this morning, and we had a slight break in the weather. And I walked out into my front yard. I live on a hill, and my front yard is mushy. I ain't putting no mower on nobody's property. It's probably gonna be a day or two. This is what I like to call a farmer's dream, man. It's just one of those slow, soaking rains, where it just rains steadily for hours and hours and hours. Soaks into the ground. It's great for the grass. It really is. And next week, it'll be back up in the 90s again. It's in the low 70s right now. It feels amazing outside. Or at least right here it does. Slight breeze coming through here, but it's in the low 70s right now. Come Monday, it's supposed to be back up around 90 again. It's supposed to be sunshine and rainbows all week next week, as of right now. And with all this rain, it's gonna be popping, man. It's gonna be on. And what sucks about it is this is my employee's last week with me. He's got to go to school. And I said, my plan was, when he told me that 2 weeks ago, my plan was to just rock it out solo for the remainder of the year. But the rate things are going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I really don't, without dropping some customers. And that is the last thing I want to do, is drop customers. I'm going to tell you something, guys. You know what? This is what we're going to do. I don't feel like standing up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to carry y'all with me. We're going to walk through the house real quick, and we're going to go sit on the front porch. Y'all good with that? Y'all want to go sit on the front porch with me? Give me just a second, guys. Walk through the house here. All right. Yeah. We're going to walk over here to the front porch here. But, alright. But anyway, I was saying that my plan is to just rock it out until probably January or February as a solo operator. And it's not that I don't have, or it's not that I have so just an astronomical amount of properties. It's not that at all. It's just that probably half of the properties I have are extremely large. Like, when I say extremely large, I'm talking about 3 acres, some of them up to 7 acres. I've probably got 6 of them that are over 5 acres, and the entire thing gets mowed. There's literally 0 trees on the property. And properties like that, man, it's taking 2 of us an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. And I have one that takes 2 of us 3 hours to mow. So there's properties like that, and then I do have a lot of other properties that are 1 acre, 2 acre properties that are taking us between 45 minutes and an hour and a half to mow. So, but we're charging accordingly. You know, the way I have it set up, my prices, I have all of my prices set up to where as soon as we leave the house in the morning to the time we get back to the house in the afternoon, we're getting paid the entire time. If If those wheels are turning, we're getting paid. If we're sitting in the driver's seat, we're getting paid. If those blades are spinning, we're getting paid. And that's just the way I have my pricing set up. And I hope that all of you do the same. Any of you guys that are getting into this business, you need to set your prices accordingly. You need to have an hourly rate per man hour that you need to be charging. And that way you can make sure that even when you're just driving from property to property, you're still getting paid. Now that doesn't mean that you're charging a customer $20 to drive to their house and then another 60 or 70 bucks to mow their grass. That's not what that means at all. You have to look at it and see how many properties in that area you can do a day, and just say you want to work an 8, 10, 12 hour day, you need to make a certain amount per hour. And that's the way I have mine set up. So I think I have right at 60 properties right now, but like I said, probably half of those properties are taking us over an hour to do. And I can do everything I got in a 5-day week, probably a 10-hour day. And now don't get me wrong, I do have a lot of probably the other half of my properties are cookie cutter properties. I think I've still got four properties in that golf course community that I'm still getting paid for. And but that's got to go. This is my last time. Or soon as the middle of October rolls around, I'm done with that golf course community. I'm still gonna mow my mom's property if she wants me to, which she's been upfront with me. She tells me all the time, like, look, it's costing you a lot of money to come over here and mow these properties. If you wanna, whenever you get ready to drop these customers, I completely understand it. I'm not gonna be mad at all. She said, but just let me know, and I'll hire another landscaper. She said, this year you cutting my grass for free has been a blessing. And now we did mess her yard up last week. It was a little too wet, and the push mower was jacked up, so we had to put the 61 on it. Just the goal was to just keep the HOA off of her. And so yeah, we put the 61 on there and it jacked it up. And she's got a lot of irregularities in her yard. When my stepdad was still living, he put a lot of swells in the yard just to direct the water to a certain part. And you can't be using a big mower in that yard. Even the 36, I've done it with the 36 before too, and it did the same thing. But it was one of the things, man, we were left with no choice. We had to do it to keep the HOA off of her. And but we're going over there for 4 properties, and we're making a day out of it. But yeah, my plan right now is come Monday is I'm gonna rock out as a solo operator until January or February. And but like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I may still wind up having to hire somebody. And with what I have right now, for the most part, I can work 10 hours a day and get everything done in a 5-day week. But the problem with that is this time of year, up until about November, the weather is extremely unpredictable, and it'll say there's 0 chance of rain, and it'll rain for about 3 hours in the middle of the day. And I like to leave Fridays and Saturdays open for either landscaping jobs or just to make up for the rain. And if I'm working 5 days, that's only leaving me 1 day for a makeup day, because I don't care what the situation is. I will not work on a Sunday. I'm done with that. But I'd like to have 2 days a week that I can just leave open to make up for rain. It's a whole lot less stress when I can do that. But time will tell, man. And at the rate I'm going, I definitely don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not, because ever since we got this website going, I've been getting emails every single day. And I think I may have told y'all before, it's to a point now where I have to cut my phone off every day at 6 o'clock because I'm glued to it. I'm living on my phone. So, yeah, I'm still, the plan is to go to January or February, probably February, as a solo operator. But we're going to look at it, and we're just going to play it by ear, man. Play it by day, and whatever happens, happens. But this year's definitely been a blessing. The website has definitely taken my business to a new level, to new heights, and I've been blessed, man. I really have. So all you guys out there that don't have a website, I highly recommend it, man. Get you a website. And the way I did it is a guy reached out to me for an estimate, and I gave him the estimate, and he called me about 2 or 3 hours later and told me he's fine with the price, but he was wondering if I would consider swapping work. And I asked him, I said, what do you mean? And he said he's a web designer. That's what he does for a living. He works for a company called Precise Websites. And he told me, he said, what I'd like to do is get 8 services. I don't remember when it started, but just go through the month of August and through the end of August. And in turn, I will build you a website, pay for your domain name, build you a website, and maintain that website for a year for free. And so any upgrades that need to be done, it'll be of no charge to you. And me and my wife, we talked about it, and I prayed about it for a day or two, and I reached out to him and told him, I said, look, let's do it. And immediately he went to work and put together a website for me. And man, I had gotten so many leads off of that website. I'm talking about big jobs too, big jobs. I know we did a couple of bush jobs that were well over $1,000, and one of them was close to 2. And never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be able to make that kind of money in one day. But that website got me to that level. But so if you don't have a website, man, I highly recommend it. And you know, I tell everybody, when you're starting out, take every free avenue you can. When I did it, I didn't know about the Google Business Profile, so what I did is I created business cards and door hangers, and you know, burned shoe leather, and then created a created a Facebook page. My wife created a Facebook page for me, and we just posted before and after pictures. And then after that, I found out, I think it was Keith Kalfas or either Brian from Brian's Lawn Maintenance, Brian Fullerton, and they were big on Google profiles, and I looked into that, and that's a free service, man. It's a free advertising service. So I used that, and that took my business to a new level from where I was at with Facebook. And actually, Google Profile is what helped me go full time going into my 3rd season. But Google Profile, I mean, there's no, you can't replace Google Profile, man. That's a free service, and everybody in town knows people, because there's a lot of people that don't know about, or that don't have social media and don't use social media. So the Google Profile got me to where I needed to be to go full time. But when this man created this website for me, and he did a good job on it too, and he's good at what he does. And but when he created that website for me, man, it just took me to some unbelievable heights. It really did. And within 4 or 5 months, I am probably triple where I was at the beginning of this season. And I owe every bit of that to the website. But yeah, this year's definitely been a blessing. We've stayed busy every single day. I found a very reliable employee that is extremely good and works extremely hard and does not fuss at all. And it's just bittersweet that he's going to have to go back to school, man. That part does suck, man, because he's an anomaly. I'm probably not going to be able to find another guy like him. At least not anytime soon. I'm gonna have to search hard for that. But yeah, my plan is to rock it out solo for the rest of 2024. I'm getting wet. Is to rock it out solo for the rest of 2024, and then at the beginning of 2025, sit down and look at things, and hopefully have 2 employees that can work with me full time for an entire year, and that's where I'm at right now. But we'll see what happens, man. I'm gonna let business dictate everything I do. I'm not gonna force anything that isn't there, and but yeah, we're stuck today. No work today, and probably ain't gonna be done tomorrow or Thursday either. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do, man. We're gonna be this week is basically a wash. There's no way around it. But as far as breakdowns go, I haven't been on here in probably 2 weeks, man. I haven't filled y'all in on everything that's going on. But the Turf Master locked up on me. Not this past Friday, but the Friday before last, it locked up, and one of the jets on the carburetor got clogged up, and they said that's what caused it. That's what caused it to flood out. The entire engine filled up with gasoline, and the exhaust filled up with gas, the bowl filled up with gas, the air filter, everything filled up with gas. And it didn't make sense to me, because the way I do it, the last property that we push mow, we'll leave the mower running and just cut the fuel line off and let it run itself out of gas. That way there's nothing in the carburetor. And then when we get ready to use it in the morning, we'll just choke it and run it. But we got to our first property, and I kept smelling something, a heavy gasoline smell. And I looked over at the mower, and it had gas pouring out of the drain port in the air filter compartment. Pulled that off. It was full of gasoline, and so I tried to crank it up, and it shot gasoline out of the exhaust. And matter of fact, it shot it on my employee. He was standing on the other side of it, and it shot gasoline all over him. And so we knew it was flooded out, but we went to go pull that cord one more time, and it locked up. And that was odd to me. So I figured there was probably some gaskets that were blown. But anyway, I took it to my dealership, and it was, they replaced all the gaskets, replaced the carburetor. Or no, I'm sorry, they cleaned the carburetor, replaced the gasket. They put a new gas tank on there, and put a new fuel line and a new cutoff valve on there, and went ahead and did a full tune-up while they had it. And runs like a champ. That thing runs like a Skoda today. So yeah, that's the only problem we've had out of that. But it did throw me off for a little more than a week, and because I mean that Turf Master is one of my primary mowers. I don't have, I'm not a guy that has a push mower for backup. That Turf Master, I use that on quite a bit of my properties. I'm say probably out of 60 something properties, I'm gonna say I use that on probably 20 properties. And it's just the area we live in around here, the yards, man, we don't have flat yards in our area. There's a lot of dips and ups and downs and nooks and crannies that you're not gonna be very successful if you're trying to use a standard or a zero turn on every single yard. But so we use that quite a bit, and that did mess me up. So we had to make do with everything else that we had, and we were some weed eating fools for an entire week. But got it back this past Friday, and I actually tore a yard up with it yesterday. There was a man lives in my neighborhood. Rained all weekend long, and I told him he's from Manhattan, and he doesn't use, or he's not used to. He's from Manhattan, and he's not used to mowing grass. Evidently, that's all concrete up there. And he moved down here. He's renting a house in my neighborhood, you know, down here we call them snowbirds, but he moved down here when he retired, and he thinks that you're supposed to water the grass every single day. And I had to tell him at the beginning of the season, I went out there and his property was very soggy, and I just asked him, I said, hey, how often are you watering the yard? He said, every day. I'm watering it for about 20 or 30 minutes every day. I told him, I said, dude, I said, that's crazy. I said, when it's raining, I said, you need to cut your sprinkler system off until the yard completely dries out. And then when it's not raining, I said, you shouldn't be watering it no more than about three days a week, or about 10 or 15 minutes per zone. Well, got over there yesterday, and he had just ran the sprinkler system. It rained the entire weekend, and he had just ran the sprinkler system. It had a little stream coming out of it from where it went back in the ground and still had water in the system. And I called him. I said, hey, I said, your yard is flooded out. I said, I'm not going to be able to mow. He said, man, I really need my grass mowed. He said, my son-in-law saw a copperhead in the yard, and I'm trying to get it knocked down to where they won't be trying to hide out in my yard. And I told him, I said, look, I said, if you've got snakes in your yard, I said, you're going to have them whether the grass is tall or not. I said, they're not living in your yard. They're just passing through is what they're doing. I said, but me cutting your grass is not going to keep snakes out of your yard. I said, but your yard is soaked. It is flooded. I said, it don't matter what mower I put on it. It is going to tear up your yard. And he said, Matt, I'm willing for the yard to be torn up. He said, I am terrified of snakes, and he said, I'm trying to do everything I can to keep them out of my yard. I said, all right. I said, well, listen, I just want you to know this yard is going to be jacked up when we get done. And he said, I'm fine with it. I said, okay. So my employee took a 36 around to the backyard, got it stuck. We tore that yard up back there trying to get it out. And I tore up the front yard with the Turf Master, man. Those wheels, you know, those wheels are probably an inch and a half wide, and they just dug right into that ground. But yeah, front yard looks like trash, and we had to wind up weed eating the entire backyard. So yeah, had that, and I've lost some customers. Had for various reasons. One of them, you know, there's a lot of military around here, and a lot of my customers are military. But I had one guy, he was trying to sell his house. He got stationed in Fort Pendleton, in California, and he was trying to sell his house, and he told me he had me maintaining the yard until he got his house sold. But he got it sold, and he, of course, you know, he dropped me. He didn't need me to maintain it anymore. And he reached out to the new homeowners and put in a good word for me and highly recommended me. And he also tried to send me a gift through PayPal, and I wouldn't give him my PayPal. But I lost him, and I lost 2 other customers because they just don't understand contracts and don't understand what it means to pay for certain services. And they thought they were supposed to get stuff for free. So those 2 wind up dropping me. But other than that, man, this season has absolutely been a blessing. It has been an absolute blessing. And, you know, I am enjoying the American dream. I'm making more money than I have ever made in my entire life at any job I've ever worked. And we are putting money up. We are getting to enjoy life. And I'm able to provide income for other people. But this ride has been amazing, guys. I'm not gonna lie. And but we're approaching the end of our season. It typically falls off the very last week in September here. You start noticing a vast difference of the income. So here for the next 2 months, you're about to see me turn it up a notch or 2, and I'm going to be taking on anything and everything and trying to make as much as I can, and putting enough back to get me through the cold months, and hopefully have enough capital saved up and enough in my savings account saved up to where going into 2025, hopefully I'll be able to afford to pay cash for a walker and an enclosed trailer, and be able to hire 2 full-time employees, because something tells me that 2025 is going to be a beast. But this is what we're dealing with, guys. It has not lit up. Look at that grass, man. Beautiful green grass. And I don't know if y'all noticed the different shades. You know, you got some light green and some dark green out there. All that light green is that is new growth from where I aerated my property. And I had my weed and perk company come out here and throw out some nitrogen so it would help the creeping effect. But the only bare spot I have in my yard now is right there by that tree. That's the only bare spots I have. Everything else is completely filled in. And all of this over here that was on this side has filled in. You know, it's a little thin, but there's no bare spots anymore. It's a little thin, but there's no bare spots. And the dethatching, the aerating, and the nitrogen, that's where it's at. That's what you need to do if you got bare spots in your yard. And that cattle trail that was right there, it's gone. I don't know if y'all remember that or not, but that's where my kids walked across the property every morning to get to their cars. But it's gone. Thankful for that. But now all I need to do is after I aerate it next year, first week in June next year when I aerate it, probably that same weekend. That car right there is doing about 45 miles an hour through here, and it is pouring down raining. Lord have mercy. But after I aerate it next year, I'm gonna get some masonry sand put out in the yard, and I'm gonna try to level out every low spot in the yard to cut out any scalping that may be done in the yard. But anyway, guys, I have rambled on long enough. I'm probably fixing to go to Costco. I've got to get some golf balls and some gloves. There is no maintenance to be done today. I did all that yesterday when I got home. So probably just gonna go to Costco and get some golf balls and some gloves. I may go to Wedges and Woods. It's an indoor driving range that we have here in Augusta. I may go there for a little bit, spend about an hour, work on my swing for my short irons, and then probably come home and watch a new episode of the Sean Ryan Show. I don't know if any of y'all are subscribed to that, but I do follow Sean Ryan on YouTube just to get an inside view of things that's going on in the world. So highly recommend y'all checking that out, man. It's a good show. And he's a retired Navy SEAL, or not, he's an ex-Navy SEAL and ex-CIA contractor. And now he just has a long-form podcast. And a new believer as well. But anyway, guys, for those of y'all out there that are outside of the Southeast and not dealing with all this rain, hope y'all have an amazing day, man. I hope y'all get out there and kill it. Hope y'all are very prosperous the remainder of this week. And for those of y'all that are here in Georgia, man, for starters, go Dogs. We ain't got long. But those of y'all that are here in the Peach State, man, I hope y'all are enjoying this rain, man, because that's really all you can do at this point. Well, look here, man. I'll holler at y'all on the next video. Until then, y'all keep cutting that grass and keep making that money. I love y'all. Bye.